We have a very important mission for tonight. We must use stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt. Okay, Batman.
Dude, what? I'm just trying to hype you guys up. Let's go!
From Seth Rogen comes a movie that crushes for absolutely every age.
Amazing, insane. All right, tell me more.
It's effortlessly cool and visually stunning. It's the most fun you'll have at the movies this year.
That seems very dangerous.
You eat danger for breakfast.
Actually, I eat pizza with bits of waffles on it.
With the funniest cast ever assembled.
Surprise!
Yes, bro!
Enough!
Oh, man.
You can't stop us.
Lock and load. We're the only ones who can do this. I'm awesome. We're brothers. We fight together. We're just getting started.
Yeah, she sounded like a leader.
I do? Oh, I do! Oh, I sound like such a leader.
And you ruined it.
Ninja Turtles.
Remember, don't let any human see you.
Exclusively in movie theaters, August 2nd. Get your tickets now.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, arriving on Wednesday, August 2nd. I'm Kuya P, this Nerds Rule the World. And as you see on the screen, I got the homie Heather Hurt to talk all things Turtles about this film. We had the amazing opportunity to have an advanced press screening for this. And so we're going to tell you all about it so you can figure out whether or not turtle power is your thing. But before we do that, Heather, I think we've talked a little bit about this in our reacts and stuff to it. But for the people that might just be tuning in, because we recently got a lot of subs to the channel, by the way, which is super dope. That don't know anything about you, you know, what is your knowledge of Turtles and all that for the uninitiated, and how much of a fan are you when this film decided to come to our eyeballs?
Wow, well, guess I'm not the cool one. No, if nobody knows who I am, damn.
They don't know me either. I'm talking to just everybody that don't know either of us.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know I'm not important anyway. It's fine. We'll
learn the self-deprecating nature of Heather on this show, by the way. All you new subs. She's amazing. So stop it, Heather.
Everything's fine. The world is on fire. It's fine. So as for me, I am, of course, a comic book person through and through. I am not as big of a turtle fan. My husband is the huge turtle fan. We have a whole bunch of San Diego Comic-Con exclusives that I have to get my friends to get me every year because he is a huge Turtles fan. He's a Raph. I'm in front of him, so John's going to be really upset that I'm in front of Raph today. But I am a big comic book fan. I actually tried to get some time with Kevin Eastman. Wow, I am a comic book person, I swear. At a retailer convention, and I wasn't able to get to him because the line was so long. But I know comics. I know a good chunk about Turtles comics, especially when they are going up against teams like Power Rangers and when they're teaming up with Batman. Oh, if you have not read Batman versus TMNT, you need to go, both the adult and the kids version. It is such a good series. But yeah, that's me. I'm the comic book human.
I love it. There you go. That's Heather. Well, the follow-up, because I put a lot on you real quick, Heather. When this was announced, and you know, obviously, like you said, your husband is into it. But I'm sure you grew up on the cartoons. You saw the action figures. What did you think about this Turtles movie coming our way?
Honestly, one of the big things that I was really excited about straight up from the beginning, and yes, I am a child of the 80s, a child of the 90s, born in the 80s. So yes, definitely grew up with the classic cartoon, definitely grew up with the classic movies. But one thing that I was super excited about is I was so excited to see some teenagers at some teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like right off the bat, you could see that they are still kids in that trailer. So I was so excited to see a movie where we have the rough draft of the Turtles in their what should have been their true form all along. So
definitely. All right. So I'm an old head. I'm the old guy in this team up right here. Grew up on, 80s baby, 90s. So I remember the comic books, the black and white, and then the reprints, because it was a very indie book. And then they had a lot of printings of those OG books in black and white. So to have collected those back in the day, and then, then it made its way into a cartoon, to toys, having them all, losing them all as I got older. I just have always been a fan of the Turtles. I will never forget the live action Turtles that I swear were really actual turtles, not really human beings in suits, because it was just so real to me as a kid. But yeah, loved all of that. Then later for y'all background on me, I'm an actor, filmmaker. Used to write post comics. Actually, I still do write comics. I gotta stop acting like I didn't get back into comics as of the past couple of years. I'm writing comic books again. So that's my pedigree. And so yes, when this came along, like Heather and I think we did a react together. I know it was us. Okay, we do so much, y'all. I was like, yes, like Heather said, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was firmly there. And then when you looked into the behind the scenes of it all, of the people they cast, they just did an extremely well job. And Seth Rogen is like me, a kid, but we're older, but we're not really older. Just age ain't nothing but a number. We're still big kids at heart. So just seeing Seth Rogen behind it was just wonderful. And just the art style, like it was a perfect nod to those 80s black and white books that I picked up in 84 when they first dropped. So it was crazy. And yeah, those are my initial impressions, and just was all here for it. And there you go. So Heather, now turning it back to you, like we do, we trade off. We saw the film. Let's get into it. Storyline wise, a reimagining, if you will. I was curious to how it was going to portray out. But I like that they didn't do a nod to they didn't say it was the Turtles. This is a different version of your Turtles. But every instance of the films that we've seen get translated, they did some changes, and some necessary, some for the better. And in certain ways, I think we, especially one particular character, we got the best version of a particular character within the Turtles universe for me, personally. So throwing it back at you, let's talk a little bit about the story and what we got here. Heather, let's get into our review.
Once again, this is a reimagining of the Turtles, so we do not have the traditional character dynamics. We have the traditional character dynamics, but we do not have the samesies origin stories. And that's kind of across the board. Not only is the Ooze a little bit different, not only the story of the Ooze and how they become the Turtles, but also who everyone is. Not going to go into any spoilers because we're good. I'm good at that.
My best right now. I haven't done anything yet.
Not yet. Not yet is the key words there. But to me, as someone who grew up with the story, there are some give and takes. We talk very frequently about Elseworld stories. We love Elseworld stories. What's the point in having the same story rehashed over and over and over again? It's a lot of fun to see different takes, different perspectives of a story. My opinion of the really, really, really big change, though it was fun how it was done, because they went all super Inception with how they did it. If you actually follow it and you understand the story and who is voicing the character, it's fun how they did it. I'm not a fan of it, but that's just me. It's not that it's not a fun way. They didn't change up the characters that weren't fun, that weren't interesting, that didn't make you want to just fall in love with them out like through and through. Even the villain, like you could even get behind what the villain was doing and why they were doing it. And this was very much a story about acceptance and understanding and family. So were all the characters fun and great? And did the plot move very well other than the weird twist at the end? Yes, it was great. It was wonderful. Personal issues, absolutely. What about you, Kuya P?
All right. Yeah. No, I was curious what that change was for you in particular. I know what you're talking about. And I will say I do have some apprehension about that particular change, because if we go somewhere else with this and we introduce other characters, it's going to be interesting how that change up happens because of the ties from previous iterations.
Anymore. Zero connections.
So, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm kind of nervous about. But at the same time, again, like you said, we love Elseworld's story. I'm here for this. And what they presented, every time somebody has to bring something new to the plate, this time we're getting a more teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'm here for it. And if this is going to play out, it'll be interesting how it all goes down. The characters in this one, I want to talk a little bit about that because as people are seeing and from the trailers, we're getting a lot more characters, sub-characters that I never thought I'd see. I thought I'd only see it in the toys from the cartoon as well. What did you think about that? And in particular, I'm talking about oh my God! Now as I think about it, the names are escaping me. The alligator, the leather character, leather neck. I want to say is his name. I'm probably wrong.
Not Leatherhead. Is it Leatherhead?
I think it's probably Leatherhead. Ray Fillet is Post Malone.
Yeah.
The singing character, Wingnut. Rocksteady, and Leatherhead was played by Rose Byrne.
Leatherhead. I knew I was right. I knew something.
Mondo Gecko, who Paul Rudd. What did you think about just getting all these sidebars? And obviously in Rocksteady and Bebop, who they're always going to be there. I think they have to have them. And played by John Cena and Seth Rogen. But just, whoever thought we'd get Mondo Gecko and Ray Fillet, and just how they did, and they were really integral into everything. I thought that was really cool. How about you, Heather?
I love the cast of characters. There was a great smorgasbord of characters. Some of them are going to be just goofy ass characters that your kids are just definitely not going to recognize and think are silly and fun. Whereas a lot of comic book people, a lot of people of the 80s, of the 90s cartoon, a lot of people who read the books are going to absolutely love the litany of Easter eggs, including in character form. I loved them. I thought they were great. The split way that they did it at the end, where everything changed very quickly, was strange, and how they turned the characters. But I love them. I loved the Turtles the way they were. I loved April. I'm suspecting that's who you meant, by the way, when you said that it's probably one of the best. I was going to get to her. I loved April. Having the villains is who they are. It's going to be a lot of fun. But at the same time, this movie is very, very, very packed, so you don't get a lot of those characters. The one you do get, of course, is Paul Rudd, but we'd all deserve more Paul Rudd in our lives. So true. Yes, they packed a lot. We didn't get very much, but from what we did get, I was satisfied because I just never thought I'd ever see them on the screen like that. So to get it in a small fashion was just made my 80s heart so happy. April O'Neil, played by Ayo Edebiri. Wow. April's is just, one of the significant characters within this universe. But I think this time I really, and I think I was talking to your husband, John, about this. This is the first time we really got a fleshed out April O'Neil within the Turtles universe. What did you think in particular about April and how they push? I think they just really gave her more character, and just Ayo Edebiri. I'm now a big fan of her. I have the side, her up on the IMDb side on the house. I'm like, I want to follow her. She just brought a lot to that character with her voice. I'm in with her. I'm interested what she's going to do more. But your thoughts on April, Heather? It's just like the Turtles. It's really great for us to see a point of beginning. With most of the time that we see April, we rarely see her in a starting point. With the earlier mid 2000s Nickelodeon cartoon, we did see a younger April, but she was already kind of a badass when the Turtles met her. This one, she is coming out of, pardon the pun, she is coming out of her shell. She is. We need to see growth, not just on the Turtle side, but on the character development side. And April has deserved that for decades, and she's finally getting that. And all of you haters, keep hating, because April can be anyone, just as the Turtles can. So, but it's one of those where I loved her because one of the great things that we have with this is we have a future with April, just like we have a future with the Turtles, and that is just one of my favorite things about this film.
Yes, I saw it 2 times, y'all. I saw it a press screening, and then I had an advanced family screening, and I fell in love with the character even more. She really nailed this role, and now I'm a fan of this actress as well. Just amazing. The art style and music. Heather, this is my time period.
Yeah.
What did you think of this? I know I was losing it in my seat. Like, I need this. I already have all the music on the actual albums of these various artists. I have them all, but now I need to like compile it and or just buy the soundtrack when like I said, I already have the music, but I want this soundtrack is phenomenal. What did you think of the art and music, Heather?
So the art is a lot of fun, just like other comic book films by the same studio. It's Spider-Verse. We have some really fun art that kind of harkens back to the artistic styles of the comics, and you actually see that in the very first scene. You see this, first turtle scene. You really see this wonderful, glitchy, fun artwork, but it's not necessarily the exact same. A lot of people are comparing it. Stop comparing comic book movies just because you think they are similar. They're not. These are entirely different. This is an entirely different film than Spider-Verse. But what you have is you have a fun artistic style, similar that had a similar in nature creation to films like Spider-Verse. I'm not comparing, just say that there is a similarity in some of those developments. As for the album, though, album was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Did it match the pace of the movie? No. There are times when the music goes in and out, it's just actually kind of distracting at times. And there are times where one of the really cool thing that a lot of movies are doing, one, Seth Rogen is a 90s kid through and through, and you're going to feel that every moment of this film, and an 80s and 90s kid. You can feel it in this movie through and through. But the music, though, was great picks, and the remixes were really fun, like in so many movies. You didn't have to change the pace to go along with the music. The music should be going along with the pace, and it didn't work out. Love the soundtrack, love the movie. I feel like they didn't mesh correctly.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to vary with you there, but then I'm trying to think of moments where was there a significant moment for you?
I'll talk to you about it off air. I'll talk to you about it off air.
Okay. Well, do we even want it? So now that we're getting closer to the end of our review, do we want to talk? Do we want to like put the timestamp now?
Sure, we can totally put the timestamp now.
All right, everybody. She said I can put timestamp. So if you don't want anything to be spoiled, pause, come back, watch the film, then come back. I'm gonna give you 1, 2, 3. All right. Superfly, Shredder, all the things. Spoilers. But actually, we'll not get into Shredder. But I think everybody knows if they get a part 2,
they already know. They already know
Shredder.
Coming, yeah.
Okay, but I actually want to go back on Superfly. We didn't talk about him earlier as our villain in this with the rest of our cast of characters. One of the really big things I liked about this is like I could completely relate with Superfly's intentions. And then, with Baxter Stockman, and here's the spoiler. In the opening of the film, we have these characters, the altered origin of our characters being made with the ooze because of Baxter Stockman. We have the Fly that becomes Superfly, so on and so forth. But there's this whole thing about this underlying theme about, these kids that are living in a sewer looking for acceptance. And then the villains that are the quote unquote villains, can we even really say they're villains? Our Bebops, the other cast characters that we talked about earlier, shift quickly to the other side because I think, like all teenagers, because they're teenagers, and this is where I would differ with you in your regard earlier, Heather, is in the transition. They're now seeing an opportunity. They're all told by these 4 brothers that you could stay with us and all of that. They want to change. I know it's a very quick transition, and I'm with you in parts.
It's a very quick transition. It's much like Haunted Mansion. If you haven't seen Haunted Mansion, spoiler.
But could you feel Superfly in his intentions? I think absolutely. I was like, man.
I don't feel Superfly in his intention. I understand his intentions.
Yeah, we don't want to enslave the world, but
there's something different that he's going to do, and I'm not going to go into that. Y'all can see the movie to know exactly what he's going to do. But I will say that there are reasons behind a lot of films going into we are destroying ourselves, and it's not because it's not true. not gonna get into it. There's enough environmental fear going on right now, but it's one of those where I definitely can feel it. And the thing is, and this is impacting everyone, especially when it comes from a person of color voicing Superfly in the way that he did, and the specific person who has fought back against oppression for many, many, many years in a very vocal way. No pun intended. It's one of those where it's his story is very, very personal for a lot of people, and it is amplified in how Superfly reacts. And what his intentions are, because all they want acceptance. Once again, how it happens and how all the villains switch places real quick. It's the same thing same thing that bugged me in Haunted Mansion. You can have an hour and a half film with a slow transition. You don't need to make it 30 seconds of a transition. But yeah.
It could have been better. I agree, but I understand at the same time. And I also got to say, when we're trying to capture teenagers are flighty. They will change on a dime.
But they're not teenagers. Not every one of the supervillains are teenagers. Some of them have grown and evolved over time. Yes, they're all about 16 or 17. But remember, they were already in the ooze. In
the tubes and all of that.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to say they're the same age.
They're not, but it's one of those where it's there is more. I wish that they just spent a little bit more time on the characters being. You saw them kind of go, I don't know how I feel about this, but then it kind of went from, I don't know how I feel about this to, yeah, I'm totally back on your side, to, oh no, we're on these guys' sides because they're nice to us and we want to have a home. It's kind of like, I don't know. I would have liked.
No, I hear you.
You could have given 3 more minutes. You could have given 3 more minutes, and it would have been just as clean of a transition. So
I feel you. We won't linger on it too long, but yeah, I can. You know, you got to give and take sometimes with certain plot points, if you will. But one other thing. So since we can do spoilers, you gave me the permission. And we said it. Come on, you're gonna have Shredder. You're gonna want to have Shredder eventually later on. We kind of allude to that at the very end. There's a mid-credit scene, y'all, where there's no one. You don't have to stay to the very end. There's a mid-credit scene, and we see Shredder off in the distance because our Maya Rudolph character, who's kind of like the evil person in this, who's behind everything, needs to get some more backup. Where do you see it going from here? And are you in it for the next one? Did this one make you happy enough that you'll go see another one with these casts?
Absolutely. Is it the best Turtles movie of all time? No, I'm sorry. The original Turtles movie is always going to be the best one. Hate me for all you want. But I definitely enjoyed this movie. It was a lot of fun. I am in it for at least one more film. However, if we're talking about spoilers, how they changed Splinter's story, there is no connection anymore to Shredder.
Yeah,
at all.
That's my thing too.
And so it's one of those where, once again, the concept behind Splinter's character in this movie is really meta and really cute, but it doesn't work for the context of an expansive universe. So I'm curious to see who Shredder is, and what his connection is, if at all, because right now there's no connection.
Yeah.
At all. So.
But I think that gives them more room to play with it. And again, if we're Elseworlds fans, you know, they'll be if they could do something really cool, and it doesn't exactly have to be, you know what, as much as we want it to, they're doing something different. And also spoilers, we leave this off in something that is mind blowing to me, even bigger than the Splinter ties with and Shredder and all of that. Our guys are in high school now. We're having our turtles go to high school. They're out in the open. This is like everybody learning that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Heather, what do you think about this now? Our character's in high school and being loved by New York right now.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I know, isn't it sweet? It was such a sweet ending.
Yeah,
but I can't.
That's an even bigger change than anything.
Well, and there's that, but there's also so much room for that in development. We have seen, and we can use the example of Peter Parker, even though, once again, not comparing because we don't compare. We have seen very positive reaction to when people do know who Peter is. We've also seen, the negative side. So it'll be very interesting to see what will happen to them as they grow and develop, and especially from a high schooler perspective. High school ain't easy. We've been through it. We know. it ain't easy.
Yeah,
So,
the ball's got to drop in part 2,
Oh,
know, of how evil kids can be in high school. But I'm so in on this, Heather. So yeah, so you're in for a part 2. I'm all in. It's Elseworlds. If you want the iteration you fell in love with, go back to that iteration. It's still there, y'all. Y'all can watch it. And that's where, as we get older, where I hope other fans kind of just know the content you love never went away. It's still there. And it could always come if you want to see that iteration again, change it up. There's always that chance as well. But everybody has their hand at the plate, and right now it's this new gen's version. So there you go. All right. Any other final words, Heather, before we get up out of here? I think we've talked enough about the turtles. I'm ready to get some pizza. How about you?
absolutely.
All right. So how can the people talk to you all things Mutant Mayhem and the like?
Sure. If you ever want to ask any questions about the Turtles comics, or if you want to know where you can pick up books at your local retailer, reach out to me at NerdIsAHeather on, I'm calling it Twitter. I ain't calling it that other shit. And until we're all dead from that. And then at Heather is a Nerd on TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
There you go. You can follow me on X. No, Twitter. Why'd I say that? I was getting ready to talk some shit about that too. I don't know why I did that. It's like I was getting primed up and then I said the wrong thing. Hear me say the wrong things on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, thanks to Heather, and all the things at the Legend Kuya P. And of course, here at the NRW and Annual Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. Fuck Elon Musk and go see Teenage Mutant Turtles, Mutant Mayhem right now. Because by the time this is released, it'll be out everywhere. Go check it out. It's a fun ride. I love the music. Although Heather may be saying it's not in time. Let us know in the comments what do you think she's talking about. What scene she's saying it's not in time to. It was dope, y'all. And I can't wait for part 2. All right, y'all. Oh. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Turtles just got out of the press screening. Heather, your boy Kuya P, with our fresh thoughts coming right out of it. Heather, what was your thoughts coming out of the joint?
It's different. It's fun. It's a different origin. Just know that it's a different story, and I liked it. It's a fun reimagining.
Yeah, I think of it as Elseworlds. There's been so many different iterations, some good, some bad. This one, I enjoyed it. I like the changes. I really like the nods to the classic comics, the OG style of the comics. Just all the characters were amazing, well cast, a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Soundtrack is hitting. I need to get the soundtrack.
Yeah, very, very 90s kid. You can tell a whole bunch of 90s kids and 80s kids made this movie. You're going to like it if you are an adult who likes the Turtles. You're going to love it.
Heck yeah, characters you didn't even expect to see. Like, I'm a big fan of Ray Fillet, the shark, just all the characters were in there, super dope. Enjoy it. Get your tickets, y'all, and subscribe. We'll have our full review on the channel. Heather, your boy Kuya P, we're going to get all into it. We're going to dig in deep with all of that. Into the ooze, Heather.
Into the ooze.
Ooze. We have. Hey, fresh out the screening. Turtles, y'all.
Yeah, had a lot of fun. Lots of fun. Thanks for comic book fans. And maybe some things that we want to talk about later on.
Yes, tune, subscribe, y'all, and our dub.